Time to round off our Kanto journey with the last starter, Pikachu, the only starter that cannot evolve into their final form. Because of that, we are left with a Pokemon with a stat total of 260, while the other starters, once fully evolved, have a stat total of 425, more than double of what Pikachu has. Plus, Pikachu doesn't have the widest move pool either. But to make things a bit easier for our mouse friend, we are going to teach it Surf right from the start, a move Pikachu can legally learn in Generation 1. How does Pikachu learn Surf? I'm going to give you the TLDR, otherwise we're going to be here for a while. You need a copy of Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Stadium, a transfer pack so you can use your Yellow team in Stadium, and beat the Prime Cup in R2. But in the final battle, Pikachu has to be one of the 3 Pokemon chosen to battle. To get to round 2, you need to beat round 1. How? Well, you need to beat all these cups, beat the Gym Leader Castle, and once you've beaten Mewtwo, then you get to round 2 where you can do the same thing all over again. But now the battles are even harder. Getting to round 2 is no easy task. Speedrunners usually get there in about 6 hours. For most casuals, I would predict this would take you somewhere around 10 hours. And that's not taking into account growing up your team in Pokemon Yellow, if we're excluding things like cheats and missing no. Which to grow out your team to level 100 would probably take you somewhere close to 20 hours. To avoid nearly 30 hours of grinding and playing a game that even I at times find difficult as an adult, I'm just going to use a cheating device and give Pikachu Surf right from the start. Something that will come in handy in the first 10 minutes. Don't worry, that's the only cheating I'm going to do. Let's just pretend I train my level 5 Pikachu to another yellow version so it can do the Prime Cup and learn Surf. As per usual, I won't use any items in battle, and other Pokemon in my party will only be used for HM purposes when necessary to proceed. So let's find out how fast I can beat Pokemon Yellow only using a single surfing Pikachu to battle. There are a few small changes made as we start the game. This time, Oak saves our stupid butt from a wild Pikachu. Then he tries to give us a Pokemon, assumingly to save us from making the same mistake twice, but then his grandson pushes us aside and grabs the Eevee that was meant for us. And because Professor Oak is incapable of saying no to family, he gives us the Pikachu that tried to kill us 90 seconds ago. But that's all water under the bridge, just like how we put Eevee underwater thanks to Surf. As per usual, we get Oak's parcel and obtain the Pokedex as thanks. We are then forced to watch this old man fail catching Rattata and see him off as he goes to buy more Pokeballs. We only have to battle one trainer in Viridian Forest, the bug catcher near the exit, but this time he has a level 10 Caterpie instead of a Weedle. Interesting change. Right after that, we have our first gym challenge against Brock. The only attacking moves Pikachu can learn are normal and electric types. Brock's Pokemon are immune to the former and resist the latter. This is why I gave Pikachu Surf right from the start. Otherwise, this challenge wouldn't have been much of a speed run. As for the battle, to my surprise, Pikachu manages to one-shot Geodude and Onix with Surf. Yes, they have been nerfed 2 levels, and we have a strong water type attack, but Pikachu is also much weaker than the other 3, and both Venusaur and Blastoise couldn't one-shot Geodude. But I won't complain. We now have our first badge with a playtime of 12 minutes. See what happens when you're forced to watch old men try to catch Pokemon? Most of these trainers on Route 4 are easy enough, being taken down in 1 or 2 surfs. I realized a couple of things early on in my journey. 1, I'm gonna have to stock up on a lot of potions, or I'm gonna be making a lot of trips to the Pokemon Center. And 2, I will probably have to battle some of the optional trainers, or I'm gonna fall behind. Unlike my last 3 runs, I'm not using a fully evolved Pokemon. And as a stage 1, Pikachu isn't the greatest. I find myself usually having defeated a potion after battling a trainer that has multiple Pokemon. Right now, most of these trainers' Pokemon are fairly weak, but soon enough, I will mainly be facing off against fully evolved Pokemon. I'm gonna have to stock up on rare candies too, just in case I find myself falling behind too much. We are able to barely handle Jesse and James and make it to Cerulean. Before meeting up with best girl Misty, I'm gonna have a quick chat with Bill. Right after beating my rival. His team is slightly different from what I'm used to. A couple of Thunder Shocks takes out Spearow, Surf one-shot Sandshrew, a Surf Quick Attack combo takes out Rattata, and after a few more Surfs, we were able to take out Eevee. Eevee's a lot bulkier than I remember it being. Miraculously, we are able to beat the Nugget 5 without using a potion. That was nice. After being this junior trainer, I bypass him and grab the TM for Seismic Toss. This will come in handy later. I chat with Bill, make him human again, and grab the SS Sand ticket. Before boarding the ship, I'm gonna face off against Misty. Pikachu outspeeds Staryu and lands a Thunder Shock. It lives, but we get the paralysis. It gets past it and uses Tackle. No worries, we take it out on our next turn. Misty then sends out the much bulkier Starmie. It goes for Harden, raising its defense. Thunder Shock only deals about a third to it. I keep attacking on the special side with Thunder Shock, and Starmie keeps on getting harder. Then, Misty gives it an X defend. For someone who claims to be an all-out attacker, she spends a lot of time on defense. One last Thunder Shock takes it out, winning us our second badge. Time, 43 minutes. Misty's badge will be the last badge I'll be challenging for some time. The remaining gym trainers mostly have stage 2 or fully evolved Pokemon. Since Pikachu's stat total is 260, while most fully evolved Pokemon are around the 400 mark, we're gonna need to be on an equal, if not a bit stronger level to stand a chance. For now, we're gonna focus on improving our moveset. One of those moves is Body Slam. Need I remind you that Body Slam is not only one of the best normal moves, but one of the best moves in the game, period. With Body Slam, I can easily sweep my rival's team. It helps that his team isn't that much stronger from when we face him in Cerulean. As I mentioned earlier, we're gonna leave Surge's gym alone for a little while and make our way to Celadon. I actually got poisoned while traveling in Rock Tunnel, and I didn't bring any antidotes, but I had a ton of potions. Plus the flashing lights from the poison damage helped me guide my way, and I was able to avoid a lot of the trainers in the tunnel. Mostly the ones I didn't want to battle. Once we're in Celadon, I beeline for the game corner. Not because I want to gamble, but because I want to beat up some rocket grunts. This is the extent of what I can handle right now. While Pikachu's speed stat is great for stage 1, the rest of its stats aren't that good. Especially Pikachu's defense, which is just flat out awful. Crits are my worst enemy in this run. Luckily, none of these grunts are a big issue for me, and Giovanni isn't a problem either. His Onix and Rhyhorn are easy one-hit KO thanks to their quad weakness to water, and in yellow, Giovanni trades in his Kangaskhan for the much less scary Persian. Because, well, you know, the anime. No Erika yet. While her team may have gotten weaker in terms of the Pokemon she uses, her team got a level buff, going from level 29 in red and blue to level 32 in yellow. Plus we're at a type disadvantage, so I'm not going to poke the sleeping bear quite yet. I'm going to Lavender Town where I yet again encounter my rival. And much like last time, Body Slam easily sweeps his team. That allows us to climb Pokemon Tower and save Mr. Fuji. Along my journey, I picked up as many rare candies as I could find. You better believe I'm going to try to get my level as high as possible while doing as little grinding as possible. After all, this is a speed challenge. I also made a few pit stops at the Celadon Mall to grab some vitamins and other supplements to buff up our surfing mouse's stats. Pikachu can't learn any stat boosting moves, so all I can rely on is hopefully getting a lot of crits. And with a speed stat of 90, we have a 17.5% chance of that happening, which isn't terrible. Once we've entered Silphco, we've officially entered hard mode. Most Pokemon from here on out will be stage 2 or fully evolved Pokemon. Luckily, the rocket grunts still aren't that bad to handle. My rival, on the other hand, is a different story. I gave Pikachu every rare candy I have in my possession so I could be on par with my rival's ace in terms of level. My first attack is a misclick as I use Body Slam when I meant to use Surf on Sandslash. We get hit with Poison Sting that doesn't poison. We land Surf this time, but we still don't get the kill. My rival hand Sandslash a potion, which gives me the opening to take it out with one more Surf. Thunderbolt, thankfully, is a one-hit KO on Cloyster. A crit Body Slam does 2/3 to Magneton, and we get the paralysis. After getting hit with a Sonic Boom, we finish off Magneton with one more crit Body Slam. Body Slam brings Kadabra down to the red, and my rival gives it a potion. One more attack finishes the job. Surf to Flareon doesn't even deal half. We get hit with Bite, which dealt decent damage. A second Surf brings Flareon down to the red, and my rival pops yet another potion. Much like the last two times, we are able to finish off Flareon for our next attack and get the W. After healing up, we face off against Giovanni. Actually, I forgot to heal after beating Jesse and James, so I'm going to this battle with about half health. Thunderbolt isn't a one-shot to Nidorino, who goes for Fury attack. That missed. One more attack takes care of Nidorino. Persian too lives a Thunderbolt, and goes for Bite. That hits us, sadly. We live it and take it out on our next attack. Rhyhorn is one-shot by Surf. Nidoqueen takes a Surf about half its health remaining. It then goes for Tail Whip. It's a good thing it didn't decide to attack. Another Surf finishes off Nidoqueen, and Giovanni is furious. And I'd be too if I got swept by Pikachu who's not even at full health. With all the story stuff out of the way, it's time to do some badge hunting. Both Sabrina and Koga's strongest Pokemon are at level 50. Since we're not quite that strong, I decide to head back to Celadon and challenge Erica. All I have to do is avoid getting status. While Erica's Pokemon might not be in their final stage, their moves got a bit of a buff along with their level. Giga Drain, to my surprise, dealt less damage than I thought it would. I managed to get a paralysis on Tangela, and it loses a turn, which gives me the opening to take it out. Since Body Slam's the only move I have that deals neutral damage to our Pokemon, I spam it and hope for the best. And what do you know? I managed to crit one-shot both Weeping Bell and Gloom to win Badge 3. Yeah, we're almost at the 2-hour mark, but keep in mind we did a lot of the story stuff first. From here on, we'll be getting our badges fairly quickly. I decided to go after Koga next. He has 3 Venonats and a level 50 Venomoth. I am still a tad under level for this upcoming battle, so I battled some of the trainers in the gym to raise my level a bit. As for the battle against Koga, since I have no way to boost my attack, I just have to hope Thunderbolt crits or paralyzes. I wasn't too worried about his Venonats. Venomoth, on the other hand, still levels me by 4, and it's a fully evolved Pokemon. Luckily for me, there aren't any good Bug-type Pokemon in Generation 1. My stomach drops as I see a crit Thunderbolt only deals about half to it. A Psychic hit hits hard in return, and a second one will definitely take us out. But Arceus is on my side, as Thunderbolt crits yet again, and I win my 4th badge. I actually got quite a few crits in this battle. I make a detour at the Safari Zone to get the Warden's Teeth in exchange for Strength. I don't need to visit the secret house since I already have Surf, even though the Warden's Teeth is right beside it. But that's besides the point. Now it's back to Saffron to challenge Sabrina. Abra doesn't know any attacking moves and gets one shot. Body Slam deals a bit over half to Kadabra, and we get the paralysis. Psywave misses, and a second Body Slam takes it out. Alakazam outspeeds us and uses Reflect, taking care of its one weakness, its defense. Body Slam barely grazes it, and it's made even worse when Sabrina gives Alakazam an X defend, raising its defense even more. At this point, I need a crit to have a chance of taking it out. Otherwise, it'll just use Recover to bring its health back to full. After somehow not managing to get attacked, I land a crit and bring it down to low yellow. And we get the paralysis on top of that. I keep on using Body Slam, but it just lives our next attack. But it loses its turn to paralysis. To my surprise, Alakazam lives barely our next attack and goes for Reflect. Cool. One more attack finally takes out Alakazam, and that gets us Badge 5. Along the way to Cinnabar, I make a pit stop at the Vermilion Gym to challenge Lieutenant Surge. He only has one Pokemon, a level 28 Raichu. Surf does not one-shot it. Raichu doesn't have an answer for us, as the second Surf finishes the job. Surf not one-shotting a Pokemon that's 20 levels weaker than us seems like a bad omen. Hopefully I'm wrong about that. After trekking through Pokemon Mansion, I get the key for the Cinnabar Gym, beat up some trainers in said gym because, again, I am underleveled, and challenge said gym leader. While Pikachu does know Surf, spoilers, it cannot one-shot any of Blaine's Pokemon. Not only that, his lead, Ninetales, can confuse us, which can get very annoying. As long as I don't hit myself, Ninetales will go down in 2 Surfs. Rapidash is also a 2-hit KO. It's a good thing that its takedown misses us, because its last Pokemon, Arcanine, lives a crit Surf and uses takedown, almost taking us out and itself. One more attack wins us our 7th badge. After once again battling all the trainers of Vermilion Gym, I come across my final gym challenge, Giovanni. The reason I spent all this time battling the trainers is simple. 1. I don't think Surf will one-shot all of his Pokemon, despite most of his Pokemon being weak to Surf. 2. Most of his Pokemon know Earthquake. If Pikachu is a glass house, Earthquake is the stone that'll make it come crumbling down. We will not live in Earthquake with its pathetic defense, so I leveled up and hope that Surf's might one-shot its team, and to make sure we outspeed all of his Pokemon. Even after all this training, I still need a fair amount of luck. Mainly pray that Giovanni gives his Pokemon a guard spec instead of attacking us, and if Persian uses Screech, our chances of living in an Earthquake go from slim to non-existent. With enough luck, we managed to sweep Giovanni's team and win our 8th badge. Now, I don't expect Pikachu to beat the times of the other starters, but let's see if we can get him under 3.5 hours. Will I? Post your predictions in the comments. We only have 6 mandatory battles left to do. The first being another battle against my rival, Surf one-shot Sandslash. When Execute comes out, I use Light Screen to protect myself against special attacks, which gives Execute the opening to poison us. Now I have to knock out all of his Pokemon in one shot if I want to avoid chip damage. A crit body slam doesn't one-shot Execute, but we get the paralysis, and it loses a turn. I take it out on my next attack. Cloyster falls to a single Thunderbolt. It takes 3 attacks to finish off Magneton. Thanks to the chip damage on top of the damage that we took from Magneton, Body Slam one-shots Kadabra. Flareon yet again lives a Surf about half its health. That's kinda scary. I know it isn't stab, but come on. Smog misses us, and we take out Flareon with one more Surf. I do not feel confident we can get through the Elite Four at our current level. All the AI, for the most part, will be a lot smarter than what we've been up against. And we'll be facing some of the strongest Pokemon in the game. I decided to add a few extra minutes to my time by battling some of the trainers in Victory Road. I also found a rare candy, which are always welcome. But we're gonna wait before we consume it. By the time we get through Victory Road, we've reached level 59. Let's see how Pikachu fares. First up, of course, is Lorelei. Thunderbolt brings Dewgong down to the red, which makes the AI give it a super potion, which brings it to the yellow. Being well under half, we get the easy KO. Cloyster is one-shotted. Slowbro, much like Dewgong, lives Thunderbolt, but it's in the red. Lorelei again gives her barely hanging on Slowbro a super potion, and we take it out on our next attack. Jinx lives a body slam, but we get paralyzed. But it gets past it and uses Thrash, which dealt less damage than I thought it would. A second attack takes out Jinx. That leaves Lapras. Thunderbolt does not take out Lapras, to no one's surprise, but we get the paralysis. However, it gets past it and uses Confuse Ray. We shake off the confusion and take it out on our next turn. So far, not so bad. It should come to no surprise that Bruno is yet again the easiest member of the Elite Four. But I will say that if I didn't have Surf, this battle would have been a lot harder. I did give Pikachu that rare candy before this battle. That brings us to Agatha. It was at this point where the TM I picked up back near Cerulean comes in handy. I'll have to remove Body Slam from my arsenal, but it's a sacrifice that needed to be done. Ghost type cannot be hit by normal or fighting type attacks, but there are a couple of exceptions. One of them being Seismic Toss. This fighting type attack will deal damage equal to your level. I could have attempted getting past this only using Surf and Thunderbolt, but since special attack and defense are one stat in this game, and Gengar and Haunter both have fairly high special stats, I don't think we would have done a lot of damage. Speaking of damage, I always made sure to have a light screen up to tank special attacks. Without it, I would have most likely fell in 2 or 3 attacks. But even with all this setup, there's still a decent amount of luck involved. Most of our Pokemon can poison, paralyze, confuse me, or put me to sleep. I need to avoid this to the best of my RNG abilities. While Light Screen will protect us from attacks, it won't be much help if we're constantly hitting ourselves. Also, her Ghost no Dream Eater. It won't do that much damage with a Light Screen up, but still, Pokemon healing themselves isn't ideal. I finally get a lucky run where I defeat Agatha relatively unharmed. Alright, time for Lance. Gyarados drops to a single Thunderbolt, the only one shot I will get in this battle. After this, we're back to RNG City, where I need things to play out a certain way to get the win. His Dragonair's moves don't have the best accuracy, and I need some of his attacks to miss. All his Pokemon know Hyper Beam. If Lance is feeling trigger happy, that's the battle. It should be no surprise that the further I go in, the more I'll need to rely on luck to get me through the battle. Taking one Pikachu to face off against some of the best Pokemon in the game isn't the wisest decision. It's like taking a team of baby Pokemon to challenge the Pokemon World Champion, whose team consists entirely of the game's best legendaries. Could I win? Maybe. Eventually. But even with the best moves at my disposal, I would need things to play out a certain way to have a slim chance of getting that victory. If Lance's Dragons miss me enough, I can get past them. Aerodactyl thankfully isn't an issue. Dragonite is the last roadblock. I need a light screen up as it knows 3 of the best special attacking moves in the game. If it uses Hyper Beam, it's a reset. But if it spams either Blizzard or Fire Blast, or maybe misses us once or twice, we can possibly get past it. It takes many resets, but I do eventually get the win, with 1 HP remaining. We still have 1 battle left. Of course, that being the final battle against our rival, the current champion. To kick off, I need a crit on Sandslash. If it doesn't, Sandslash will live our attack and one-shot us with Earthquake. But if we get that crit, we'll wipe it and that will bring out Alakazam. I immediately set up a Light Scream as Psychic will hit hard otherwise. Speaking of Psychic, I need to avoid a special drop or I'm gonna run into problems later on. I get a crit on Thunderbolt here and take a Psychic fairly well thanks to Light Screen. Seismic Toss finishes off Alakazam. Since Exeggutor resists both electric and water type attacks, I'll have to keep on using Seismic Toss. It takes a few tosses, but we do eventually take it out. It's a good thing we evaded that Leech Seed at the end, as we're not doing very well on health. Seismic Toss looks to deal about half to Magneton. It hits us with Swift, bringing us down to 10 HP. One more attack will definitely take us out, but one more Seismic Toss will take out Magneton. Or not? I completely misjudged that, which allows me to take out Magneton on my next attack. Cloyster falls to a single Thunderbolt, thank Arceus, and that brings out Flareon, his last Pokemon. Surf deals half, unfortunately, yet again. But it goes for Reflect, raising its defense. Since we're not attacking on the physical side, we can use one more Surf and take it out. And folks, I have just beaten Pokemon Yellow only using a single Surfing Pikachu. Final time, 3 hours, 19 minutes. Honestly, Pikachu's time isn't that much worse in comparison to the fully evolved starters. I honestly thought it'd be an extra hour, if not more. But no, Pikachu is only about half an hour worse. But that being said, the amount of resets I had to do to get this run is ridiculous. Most of the gym trainers after Missy took me at least 2 or more attempts. And don't even get me started on the Elite Four, especially the final 3 battles. Those took countless resets. I could not even give you a number if you put a gun to my head. I would recommend that you do not do this with Pikachu unless you really enjoy pain. You would definitely be better off using a Surfing Raichu, who is way cooler than Pikachu. But still, I became Pokemon Champion under 3.5 hours. It took Ash 25 years. So suck on those eggs. In our next challenge, we're heading to the land of Johto. Subscribe to be notified from when that video drops, and if you enjoyed this video, drop me a like for the algorithm. But for now, it's time for me to put the Game Boy down. But don't you worry, I will see you all very soon. Bye.